If you ever want a snapshot of the world's mood, look at what people were obsessing over this week. Housing, AI money, supplements, metabolism hacks, and yes, a bizarre AI image that had Joe Rogan completely losing it. It's like the news can't decide whether it's building your future or selling you a shortcut. It really was one of those weeks where you can feel the tension under everything. People are trying to buy homes, trying to keep up with tech, trying to optimize their bodies. And then social media throws in something absurd just to remind us we're all still human. Let's start with housing, because it's the one that hits closest to everyday life. We finally got a little relief. The 30-year mortgage rate dipped to around 6.38%. Not a miracle, not a return to the low-rate era, but enough to make some buyers lift their heads and say, wait, did it get slightly less painful? And yet the builders aren't exactly celebrating. That's the twist. You'd think even a modest rate drop would loosen the market, but a lot of home builders are still trimming prices or offering incentives just to keep homes moving. It's like they're watching demand carefully, not trusting it to stick. Right, it's a fragile kind of optimism. Buyers get a tiny breather, but the people building the homes are still acting like the next shoe could drop. If you're shopping, it's a weird mix of, maybe I can afford this, and why does it feel like everyone is still nervous? Also, that 6.38% number might sound small on paper, but on a monthly payment, it's still hefty. The bigger story is psychological. Rates are finally moving in a direction that feels less punishing, even if they're not cheap.
Now, swing the camera over to tech, where the mood is the exact opposite. Confident, loud, and basically printing money. Taiwan Semiconductor TSMC just reported profits up about 50%. That's not a gentle bump, that's a something huge is happening signal. And the something huge is AI. The demand for the chips that power AI servers, all these chatbots, all these data centers, it's not slowing down. TSMC is sitting in the middle of the supply chain with the kind of leverage companies dream about. It's wild how two worlds can exist at the same time. In one corner, people are counting basis points on mortgages, and builders are discounting homes. In the other corner, AI infrastructure is booming so hard that chip profits are exploding. And it makes you wonder, are we in a future that's supercharged, or are we just building a bigger and bigger appetite for computing and hoping it pays off? Right now, the market is voting yes, at least for the companies making the picks and shovels.
Okay, speaking of appetites, let's talk wellness, because this week it wasn't just take your vitamins, it was very specific debates. One of the biggest was creatine. A lot of people hear creatine and immediately think gym guys and bulking.
But the conversation is shifting toward the brain. The idea being, creatine isn't just about muscle performance. It's a nutrient your body uses in energy systems, and some experts are putting more emphasis on what that could mean for cognitive support, especially in certain groups.
And this is where wellness gets tricky, right? Because the internet takes a nuanced discussion and turns it into one scoop and your brain becomes a supercomputer. That's not the promise. The real takeaway is more grounded. It may be more important broadly than people assumed, and it's not just a fitness influencer supplement.
Then there was the hair supplement showdown, collagen versus biotin. If you've ever stood in a store staring at bottles thinking, which one am I supposed to believe? You're not alone.
Dermatologists keep trying to bring that debate back to reality. People want a clear winner, but the best answer is often, it depends on why your hair is thinning or brittle. Biotin is famous, but not everyone is deficient. Collagen is everywhere, but results aren't guaranteed. The story this week wasn't buy this miracle.
It was more like, stop assuming trends are the same thing as evidence.
And while we're in the evidence versus vibe zone, let's jump to the recovery and metabolism talk. There's been a pushback against the idea that resting is always the fastest route to healing. For some injuries, too much downtime can actually keep you stiff, slow your return, and drag out the process, which is such an uncomfortable message because rest feels like virtue. You're injured, you stay still, you wait it out. But more recent conversations are emphasizing that appropriate movement, when it's safe and guided, can be part of healing rather than the enemy of it. And the metabolism piece hit a nerve too. The idea that a sluggish metabolism isn't automatically some inevitable I'm getting older tragedy. A lot of the blame may actually be lifestyle, especially just spending too many hours parked on the couch. That one's both empowering and annoying. Empowering because it suggests you can change things. Annoying because it means you can't just point at your birthday and say, well, that's that. The message is basically, movement matters more than you want it to. So if we pull all of this together, the plot of the week is pretty clear. Money got a little cheaper for home buyers, but the housing market still feels cautious. AI is still a gold rush, especially for the companies supplying the core hardware. Wellness culture is cycling new must-haves, but experts keep trying to slow the hype down with nuance. And the internet is turning AI into both an economic engine and a chaos machine. It's a busy mix, but it all connects. People are hunting for stability, financially, physically, culturally, and the world keeps offering half answers. A rate drop, not a reset. A supplement trend, not a guarantee. A viral image, not truth. Meanwhile, the chips keep shipping. That's the episode. If you found yourself toggling between Zillow, AI headlines, and your supplement cabinet this week, you weren't imagining it. That really was the mood of the moment.
What to eat? Sometimes nothing.